Super long story short of a story that happened 22 years ago. I'm now a 41M. I'm one of 4 kids growing up in Adelaide, Australia. I have an older brother and 2 younger sisters. A couple of days after my 19th birthday, the daughter, who we considered like family, of a close family friends of ours accused me of SA during my B-Day party. My family took her side of the story, and I was disowned and kicked out of the family house. I then had to move in with my aunt and her family, who lives in another city, Melbourne, 8 hours away, and had to rebuild my life from the ground up again. Fast forward 22 years later, I went and finished university, met my now wife, and now I have a family of my own with 2 young kids, 10-yo and 7-yo. My aunt and her husband have been my rock throughout this whole time. They believed in me and even helped me in those early years to get back on my feet. Even today, my family would be going over to their house on a weekly basis for family meals with her family. Fast forward to about 3 weeks ago in late March. My auntie called to tell me to come over as my father and siblings were at their house and they wanted to speak to me. I was reluctant, but my auntie strongly advised I come as I want to hear what they now have to say. When I arrived at auntie's place, and sure enough, there were my old family, siblings and all. They were just so much older now, but it was definitely them. Cut the long story short and give you the gist of it. I asked them what they wanted. My father and siblings spent the next few minutes apologizing and explaining to me that they had just recently found out from the horse's mouth that the SA accusation was all false. They started crying, begging me for my forgiveness and hoping we could reconnect. When they had their turn to speak, I just calmly told them no and got up to leave. My older brother begged me to stay and try to work this out. He said we were family. When I heard him say this, I just bluntly told them all, no, you're not. They're just strangers to me now. My real family were my aunt and her family. Her sons were my siblings. They were my best men, groomsmen at my wedding. I'd even changed my surname to my aunt's husband's surname. When my father heard this, he completely broke down. I didn't care. I thought I would be angry or something along those lines, but I wasn't. I felt nothing for these people. They were just strangers to me now. I didn't even ask about how the truth came out. I didn't want to know. I didn't care. I told them never to contact me again. They're dead to me as I was to them all those years ago. At this point, everyone from my old family just broke down and cried. I know their tears were genuine, but again, I felt nothing for them. After this, I just left. My ex and my family were my whole world. I thought I had a good relationship with my parents. I had inside jokes with my dad, shared hobbies with my mom. I also had a good relationship with my sister, 10 at the time. I didn't drink, smoke, or be late most nights. I wasn't perfect. But I wasn't that troubled teenager of a boy that didn't even deserve to be fucking heard. In the summer, my ex and I planned sleepover at his parents' house. I know it was a stupid decision to sleep at his parents' house when no one knew about our relationship, but I was 19, stupid and hormonal. His parents heard us, and his father entered the room and beat my ex-boyfriend. When he tried to hit me, his wife grabbed him and I quickly grabbed my clothes and ran away and went to my home. In the evening of the next day, my father entered my room and grabbed my hair while my mother was crying and telling me if I had raped my little sister as well. I didn't understand what she was saying, and I told her of course I didn't rape her. But my father said that I was just a mistake and dragged me out of the house and told me that if I didn't run away from him now like I ran away from my victim house yesterday, he will turn himself into the police because he will be murdering me. I tried to call my ex-boyfriend to make sure he was okay, but he didn't answer. When I called my grandmother, she told me I should be ashamed of myself and I should surrender myself to the police, and that she would support me if I did this. I tried to ask her what was happening, but she said that she couldn't bear to hear my voice and hung up the phone. I went to the house of my close friend, Angle. She wasn't at home, but her father was, I call him Uncle. I did not plan to talk to him, but I could not stand it and cried in front of him. He listened to me and assured me that I had a place in his house and to not worry. The next day, my uncle sat me down and told me that he spoke to my father, and he told him that I had raped my ex-boyfriend and forced him to do things he didn't want to do. Had it not been for his parents discovering us, I would continue the rape. I was shocked and showed him the messages that were between us. I don't remember what happened, but I was crying hysterically, and Angle was holding me and my uncle, calling the ambulance. After I got out of the hospital, we spoke with a lawyer and reached an agreement with my ex-boyfriend that he would confess to my family that it was a lie. Otherwise, I will file a defamation case. All the evidence was against my ex-boyfriend, and he accepted. But it wasn't enough for my parents because they sent me a legal disowned letter. I will spare you from the details, but know that I am fine now. 2 days ago, my parents sent me a long message asking to talk. They said my sister died, and they wanted me at the funeral on Friday, and to talk. I told them to fuck off and to give the funeral location. They told me Ethie. I talked to them, or they won't give me the time location. I want to see my little sister, but I don't want to see my parents. The thought of them only make me sick. What did I do wrong to deserve this? Be gay? Edit. My uncle is actually my friend father. I call him uncle out of respect for him. He isn't related to my family and doesn't know anyone except my parents. Edit. I couldn't find my sister's death record online as some suggested, but I spoke to my aunt, and she assured me that my sister had died. I asked her about the location of the funeral, but she refused to tell me. I see a lot of comments saying they are lying about my sister's death. I don't think they are. I have nothing. I'm not successful. I don't own my own company or my own home. I don't even have kids. I was in high school. I'm at a friend's house party. My girlfriend got belligerent drunk. I'm struggling to enjoy myself because I was barely buzzed and she was being annoying. She won't stop talking about how horny she is. I just want her to pass out. But she's having none of it. Won't take no for an answer. We go upstairs into a bedroom and start hooking up. She throws me onto the floor, gets underdressed like Jim Carrey on Bruce Almighty, and turns off the lights. She rips off my clothes, straddles me, and says, "You're gonna love this shit," as she lowers down. It doesn't even feel good. She's making all these noises like a savage, but there's just too much friction. I wasn't feeling it, and I'm about to tell her to get off of me. She lets out this noise that sounds like a combination of a deep cough and a hiccup. I'm like, "Babe, are you all right?" She lets out a Hurricane Katrina-style levee smasher storm surge of explosive diarrhea all over me. Apparently, we had been doing anal and she lost control. So here I am, covered in Jaeger bombs, Taco Bell, and oppressive feces while in my friend's little brother's room. I try to fight off the traumatizing shock which I'm in. Someone needs to clean this shit up quickly. Luckily, everyone else was downstairs. I cleaned myself off with my undershirt and walked into the upstairs bathroom to find cleaning supplies. There was Resolve and Febreze there. I took those to the room and did the old pat down and scrub. Most of it came right up. The carpet was this ugly grayish color which made things a lot easier. I put my undershirt and her shirt we used to scrub in a plastic bag that I found in the bedroom. I popped the screen out of the window and threw it into the backyard. The coast was clear in the bedroom, except this putrid smell of rotten whale blubber. I left the window open and sprayed, basically, the whole bottle of Febreze everywhere like I was a hitman cleaner. We walked downstairs. I told my friend that my GF threw up in the room and that he shouldn't let anyone go in there tonight before it airs out. Volcano ass and. I walked outside, got in the car, and drove to the street adjacent to his house. I walked in between houses to get to his backyard, hopped his fence, and retrieved the bag of deceit, sorrow, and teen anguish.